Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's talk on what's the big deal with positive thinking. My name is Dawn Wiggins. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, speaker, and writer, and I am co-hosted today by Dagmar Gattel, SEO expert, and I would love for Dagmar to introduce herself.
Thank you so much for having me, Dawn. I'm Dagmar Gattel. I'm an SEO strategist, coach, and consultant, and I really help entrepreneurs how to turn their expertise into a global business because there are no limitations. And that's the beautiful thing with our topic today, positive thinking. If you don't see borders, if you don't see walls, there are no one. So I'm so excited to hear more from Dawn, how left and right brainers can approach this positive thinking and bring it into their life as something that enriches their life.
So I totally have all that information for you about left and right brainers. And so I'm going to tell you, Dagmar, that when we're done, to go back and read the blog because there is awesome information in there. So there is a blog post on my website to go with our talk today, but let's jump in. So what's the big deal with positive thinking? A lot of people out there think that it's kind of like voodoo or like silly, that you don't really, that it's just wishful thinking. But I'm here to tell you the big deal about positive thinking is neuroscience, that there is hard and fast empirical data that says that positive thinking improves our lives. And I'm going to teach you about how that happens today. So if you're one of those people or you know someone who tends to be a cynic or critic about positive thinking, affirmations, inspirational books or quotes, I'm here to teach you and explain to you why they are so effective. So in my life I became aware at some point that my mind was incredibly negative, that I was really hard on myself, and I was really hard on other people, and it took me a while to realize that I needed to change the way that I was thinking in order to have a more positive experience of the world. So I think the first in people's way about positive thinking is our own beliefs and the fact that we might be in denial about our thoughts. So the first thing is we need to have awareness if there's areas for improvement with positive thinking in our lives. And the second thing is we have to be willing to do it differently. And I think ultimately I believe that positive psychology and positive thinking, it comes down to self-love. And sometimes self-love is a hard concept for people, or it's a difficult transition to make, because it means we're investing in ourselves and we're putting ourselves first. And I think for a lot of people that can be awkward because we're not used to prioritizing ourselves. We're afraid that people might criticize us, reject us, or judge us for prioritizing ourselves. So I don't think that it comes naturally in our culture these days to practice self-love. And positive thinking is a version of that. So be conscious if there's any resistance. It might be about feeling selfish or not good about yourself.
Yeah, I think what you just said, it hit the nail, right? I grew up and there was not one thing of positive thinking. And I think in the German culture, it's all about prevention. So you're trained to think of the worst case scenario and prevent the worst case scenario. So you live your whole life in the feeling something horrible could happen. Based on positive thinking, because then they think you are naive, or they think you don't live in your reality, you live in fairy tale land, right?
There's a word for that here called Pollyanna.
Pollyanna, that's funny. So this positive thinking concept is really a concept I didn't learn in school. I didn't learn in my childhood. I didn't learn in my environment. It was a conscious choice I made after my husband died. If I want to think positive and look for the opportunities and think about why am I here, what's the purpose of me being in this world, and how can I make a difference or create an impact, as to focus on myself, being self-pity and poor me. So that's really how my positive thinking journey starts, and I'm still on this. So but I thought it's interesting what you said, from the core, what positive thinking is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is about our mindset. And if we're trained to have a mindset of worst case scenario, then that can be a block in and of itself to adapt to a new way of thought. So that's why I really am excited about bringing the science and the data to you guys today, because if you're anything like me, if I have evidence, it's a lot easier for me to embrace it. So a lot of things we have to go on faith, but it's a lot. I think it's always easier when we have some evidence. So what I want you to know is that the area of neuroscience and neuroplasticity as research is one that has been gaining popularity for the last many decades. What we're learning is that we are able to generate new brain cells, that we are able to generate new pathways in our brain, and that everything we do in the direction of positive thinking is not to be Pollyanna or to be naive. It's to literally improve the quality of our experience in life through reshaping our brain. So we have studies that confirm that synapses, neurons, whole brain areas can change depending on the activities that we perform. So the brain is not rigid, it's moldable just like clay. And so what we focus on literally grows in our brain. So we've talked about things like that before. You hear a lot of like the secret, those kinds of ideas, that what energy you put out there is what you get back. It's this concept of positive thinking. It's not even so mystical like that. It's literally about what you focus on grows new pathways in brain cells. So this is really scientifically backed. So here's the implications on this neuroscience for positive psychology. We're born with a set point in our brain where we tend to experience life. So those set points in our brain, they're probably genetic markers that are like our baseline for happiness, for attitude, for personality, various things. But what we know about neuroplasticity is that we can actually change our set point. So if your automatic set point is to be a pessimist versus an optimist, or to avoid connection, or to struggle with gratitude, or those kinds of things, you can change that set point by changing your behavior. So the first thing we want to do is actively seek to change our brain's set point where it comes to positivity. Yeah, there's a comment in the chat bar about meditation, and there's more down the road about mindfulness, how it helps improve this. So there are a lot of things that can help us change our set point, changing our limiting beliefs, changing our negative thoughts. So things like practicing gratitude, optimism, self-compassion, those are all things that can change our set point to a more positive one. So the next thing that I want you to keep in mind is that it's important to develop a growth mindset. And that means that we can not feel trapped by the idea that the way we are is the way that it is. It's about believing that growth is completely possible, and having that mindset that we can grow, we can change, we can become positive. That's a mindset that you have to embrace in order to really change your set point and to have an impact from positive thinking. So there's an example that I read today on another blog that shared that Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team.
Wow.
So what does that tell us? What set him apart was his willingness and his will to succeed, and not necessarily what somebody else's opinion was of him at a pretty critical point in his development. So Just because you get negative feedback or just because you experience something painful doesn't mean you have to accept that as reality. You can use a growth mindset, and you can push through and make changes. So yes, I see, Michael, you said a growth mindset comes with growth responsibilities. Absolutely. We tend to come back to that follow through is really, really important in creating long-term change in any of these personal development topics we discuss. So Dagmar, going back to your left and right brain idea that you brought up in the beginning of the talk, is that growing the mindfulness muscles in your brain, they will improve both our left and our right side of our brains. So practicing mindfulness, meaning staying in the moment, meditation, managing our emotions, being able to connect with our emotions and letting them flow through naturally, being able to allow our thoughts to flow and not trying to control or block anything. Mindfulness allows our brain to show up differently than if we don't practice mindfulness. Mm-hmm. So positive emotions look different in our brain, and negative emotions show up differently in our brain. So our research, the neuroscience research says that joy and gratitude leads to higher activity in the left prefrontal cortex, whereas anxiety and stress are linked to the right prefrontal cortex. So we can see where if we're practicing mindfulness, positivity, that it's literally showing up in brain imaging in different parts of our brain, the left and the right side. So stress and anxiety shows up at the right side, positivity shows up in the left prefrontal cortex. And we know that meditation is one of the most powerful tools to growing and strengthening our prefrontal cortex.
And cats. I could see cats too.
Cats strengthen the prefrontal cortex?
Yeah, because I tell you why. Last week I really was under stress a lot, and I could already see the negative energy growing, and you're so focused on that. So now you expect it already, right? What else goes wrong? What else is happening in my life here? So there's not enough space for normally my positive energy to come in. And by just my cats, they don't care, right? If you have negative or positive energy, they want to be petted, they want to be taken care of. But just changing my focus away from my negative energy into taking care of them, they make me happy. So
that's a form of mindfulness. What happened? It pulled you out of wherever your mind was in the past or the future or a fearful place, and it pulled you into a moment where you were focusing your attention on something that wasn't stressful. Mm-hmm. So it was a form of mindfulness.
Yeah, and then I saw too on my body language. It relaxes my back and relaxes my neck and took a little bit away my migraine. So then I consciously choose, do I want to anchor this? Anchor, right? Do I want to just in the future look at my cats without that they approach me, and then just be in the moment again and remember this moment where they make me happy. So I'm practicing this right now, just to pull in positive energy when I am in the situation where negative energy overwhelms me.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful example of exactly what we're discussing today, is choosing to do it differently and trusting that it's going to impact your life and make it a more enjoyable place, even if you're going through a really painful or hard time. And with practice, I had a client who taught me a great saying a few weeks ago. She said, and she learned it from a teacher of hers many years back, she said, what practice makes permanent. Mm-hmm. So if you practice things that are positive, those will become permanent. But if you practice things that are negative, those will become permanent. So be mindful of what you practice. And so I hear you, Dagmar, really focusing your attention on wanting to practice positivity and really getting the benefits of it, because it's helping you cope with whatever life brings you.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, is that we can't control whether or not hard things happen in life. Hard things are always going to happen, but we can control how we respond to them.
Yeah, and what we do with it, right? because they're an opportunity too.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for reminding us that hard things in life are some of the best opportunities that we have to grow and to move outside of our comfort zone and to embrace a new way of living. And sometimes they're our best teachers, hard times. And so today's topic of positive thinking is one of the most productive ways we can improve our quality of life. Yeah. And I always love when we can combine science with spirituality, as I say, because this is one of those things where I think practicing affirmations and positivity, there is a spiritual aspect to it. There is a lot of faith, but there's science behind it.
Yeah. And you know what you just said too, and I'm learning that from you. What you teach me is sometimes you have to let it go, that it can come back to you, right? And I was like a few weeks ago in a situation where I didn't know where to go with my 4 cats. Like it seemed like I had no clue that it's this huge big thing that you cannot find an apartment or a condo or a house or whatever when you have 4 cats, right? Just didn't expect that. And it brought me so much pressure that the German attitude came back and the German mindset came back. And I thought, I will end up under a bridge with my 4 cats. And Florida has no bridges, not really, so would be more Germany. So I thought, God, will I be homeless because I cannot find anything to live with these 4 cats? At one point,
what you're describing is your mind went back to its set point.
Yes. Just out of, I could not bring in any positive energy because I couldn't see any solutions.
And yet there was one.
Yeah, it came to me from the universe.
Yes, you didn't know what it was. And that's the beautiful thing about this is it's not Pollyanna, it's not naivete. It's trusting that if we continue to do the footwork and we practice positivity, that what you focus on grows, literally in your brain and in your life. We're not always going to know what the solution is in the moment that we want the solution, although that would make life a lot less stressful. A lot of times it's really just trusting that there is a solution and you will find it. It may not be the one you like. It may not be the easiest. It may not come naturally. It may not come in the timing that you want. But if you keep focusing on the positivity that there is a solution, you will find it.
Yeah, and I think what you just said, right? So first I was pretty self-pity. First I thought, God, I want to rescue these 4 cats, and now what happens to me? So what happens with my life, right? And then I thought, no, I'm not focusing on that. I need to focus on finding solutions. So positive energy, finding solutions and not being self-pity and crying about myself. So I reached out to my friends and said, hey, I really need your help. Like, I cannot find anything for me and for these 4 cats. So one friend of mine, she has 5 cats. So she asked her ex-husband, who has a rental and just got rid of the tenants, and she begged him if I could move in with my 4 cats. And it's a beautiful home. And he said, okay, he does it for her, right? So now I'm here and I think he's happy and I'm totally happy. But I did not, if you would ask me 4 weeks ago, I could not see that.
You couldn't see it?
I could not see that.
And you know what? I would be grateful to have you
my 4 cats.
A tenant. You're such a considerate, compassionate I can imagine having a better person to live in my home. So I think that he's very blessed.
It was a journey. And one of my friends, she said the same Jessica, she said the same what you said. You need to allow the universe to provide to you. So you need to make space. And I realized the negative energy didn't leave any space to provide. I didn't reach out to anybody. I just was so scared. And I thought, God, I cannot believe this happens to me in my life. So
it's not fair. It's not fair kind of thinking.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
Right. Why does it happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm learning.
You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. And super willing to learn and to do it different. And I love it. It's beautiful. And I love all the energy in the chat room today.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Everybody's comments. I really love about the discussion about acceptance. even sometimes keyboards. When I'm teaching meditation and mindfulness, you know, a lot of times there's interruptions when I'm teaching meditation, and you know, clients get frustrated because there's outside noise, or you know, somebody in the building will start jackhammering, or you know, something really annoying. And when you're meditating, it really is about learning to accept the intrusions, because that's what life looks like. In life, we have intrusions. And so it's about learning to observe the intrusion and let it go, and not to fight with it. Like, you know, this isn't okay, it's ruining everything. Those are judgments. And so it's really about going with the flow and just observing what it is and believing that everything is for learning.
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
So this is positive.
Yeah. We have a little bit of time left. Do we want, the jet is amazing today. So I want to ask you, would it be okay if we asked who wants to hop in and be live with us and just share their experience about positive thinking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If anybody wants to jump in, I'd love to hear any comments or take any questions.
Yeah.
Sounds like we've got a lot of
Yeah, feel free, Salah or Michael or Aliman, if you want to join us.
We have a lot of synchronistic energy today.
Yes, renew your mind. Yeah, I would love to hear what your experience is with positive thinking, because for me as a German, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. So, and not difficult because...
Yeah, I'd love for Alaman to jump in. I see... here's
we have 2 seats. We should have 2 seats. Yeah, so out jumping into... My keyboard is loud. I have my old PC. The Mac didn't connect.
You know, we just but we
technology.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we just take it as it is. You know, it is what it is. So yes,
I wanted to be here.
Know, it is. We just accept it and let it go. And I won't try to take the seat too long in case people want to join, but.
We have one other one.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to jump in, would be nice. I called in because I really wanted to join you live, and I really wanted to share a story because I found it so inspiring with both of you, what you were saying, especially, for example, what you were saying, Dagmar, with you know, with the cultural experience, how we're brought up, you know, what is the mindset that we get from our parents or our culture is what really, for example, what really defines us. And personally, from my background and from my life, I was also, you know, brought up by this idea of glasses always half empty, not half full, you know? You know, you never got enough, and you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. So it was, you know, I was not standing in the line when they were sharing, you know, glasses half full or the good stuff and everything. And it is what you said then later, Dawn, when I started learning about mindfulness and also practicing it. It was like, you know, because we were brought up by this idea that everything must be kind of a perfect, you know, you have to be a bit perfect at everything. So for mindfulness, it was like the step back of saying, oh my God, you know, I'm doing this, you know, my mind wanders and I keep on thinking things and I'm doing this right or correct. And I just think it takes so much time to just, you know, let yourself go and say, no, I'm doing this, you know, my pace, my way, I'm doing it okay, I'm good at it. And, you know, I'm doing it for myself, for my soul to be, you know, to be better, to feel better, and, you know, to advance in life. And it so resonated with me that I really needed to share it.
I love what you're saying. So you weren't standing in the line when they were handing out the glasses half full, but you know what? You're standing in the line now.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, because I hear that your set point is glass half empty. and that the way that I experienced you in the time of our relationship, Zala, is that that's not your set point anymore, that you have practiced exactly what we've talked about today, and not that you do it perfectly or that it's all the time or that it's always easy, but that you have been diligent, just like Michael said, that with a growth mindset comes growth responsibility.
Yeah.
You've taken that responsibility and you've changed your set point, and that's awesome. You're an inspiration.
Thank you. It's all because of, it's all because of this, I also think, great opportunities. Like we've said in the previous show, Dawn, I love how you make these topics worthwhile and how you make them, that it's something really natural, what we all do, and it's okay that we do it, It's not just people who need like special treatment or special help,
right,
or have super special problems, but it's, it's something that we all need for our growth.
Universal. Yeah, universal issues.
Yeah.
So I can't take credit for this one. This topic was Dagmar's idea, and I got so excited.
Positive energy.
Yeah, because it's so powerful.
I have a story. Sana just reminded me of a story. It will take like 2 minutes. Is that okay? So I grew up with a father. When I came home from school and I showed him what we did, and I had a B, his response was, "Why isn't it an A?" Right? So I did my SEO master in 2013, and my challenge was doing it in English, understanding all these technical jargon words, because I approach SEO more from an empathy perspective, as that I always use the proper language, right? Because with my client, I need to break it down, make it simple. So while I went through the certification, in the middle of the certification, I was doing great, and everybody thought, "Oh, that's outstanding and awesome." My father's voice came in, right? My father's voice said, "What do you think who you are? You think you are an SEO master? Why are you going through the certification? Forget it. You don't have to go through this thing. You will not make it. You will never get the certification." And I had a breakdown. I really had a nervous breakdown for several days, and I cried, and I thought, who do I am? What do I think who I am? What do I think why I should do this or could do this? Like, I'm nobody special. So why do I think I have the ability to be a master, right? And it really took me a lot of focus and a lot of positive energy just to move forward. And it was hard because I had to deal with this voice coming back and back, to the point that I thought, and I don't use the word, I thought, F you. Like, I will do it anyway, and if I fail, guess what? Then I have to repeat it in Harvey, and that's how it will be.
Times where I think F you is really appropriate. Like, I would imagine that's what Michael Jordan said when he got the game, is like, F you. And I think that is so okay. Because to all of you out there, whether you're here with us live today or whether you're listening to this show on YouTube, you are the gift. Dagmar, you are the gift. Zala, you are the gift. If you are listening to that message that's negative, that is destructive, it's limiting who you are, and the world doesn't get you as the gift.
Yeah.
So if you had really bought into that message that who are you, how could you be an SEO master, you wouldn't be here with us today. The world wouldn't be receiving Dagmar Gattel as a gift.
Yeah.
And I know how many lives you've affected, Zala. I know how many lives you've affected. And the more we embrace who we are, the more the world gets the gift, which is us, our spirit, our nature, ourselves.
Yeah. So yesterday night, that's why I remind that Scott asked me if I was ever a top student, right? And I said, yeah, always. And he thought it's funny if I'm serious about this, right? Yeah, it was, because I never had a chance not to be a top student, because I lived in fear not to be a top student. I always had to deal with a father being upset or discussing or screaming with you why you were not a top student. So it comes like it's great to be a top student and get the best marks, but I paid the price for this one. So now I try to allow myself to be more relaxed and to not having these high expectations on myself, so that I can just have fun when I'm learning, not just feeling the pressure that I have to be the best.
Right, the journey instead of the destination.
Right.
Just be in the process. And it's like Zala said a few weeks ago, good enough is the new perfect.
Yes.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, ladies, for your beautiful spirit, your energy, your willingness to share your stories and your inspiration. I'm grateful that you're in my life. I'm grateful for everyone who's joined us today. I mentioned earlier there's a blog post that goes with today's show. It's up on my website, dawnwigginstherapy.com, under the blog section. And it has all the cool research cited and a lot of the people who did the research. It's really fascinating stuff. So if you want to learn a little bit more or have some of the details, please go check it out. And if you'd like to be in touch with me or to explore whether or not therapy is something you'd be interested in, please check out my On the House consult page on my website, where you can set up a free 30-minute phone session with me to explore if there's anything we could work on together and get to know each other a little bit better.
I'm just posting it for you.
Thanks, Deb. So thanks again to everyone who joined us. I would love for, if you heard anything that you like, or if there's anything about our show today that was interesting to you or that you'd like to have more of in your life, please sign up for my newsletter on my website. I really enjoy writing them. They come in every Tuesday morning. And Zala, what time is Tuesday morning for you?
Tuesday morning is probably middle of the night for me.
Okay, so, it depends on where you are in the world.
Yeah. But it's really nice waking up to your newsletter. When I wake up and, go through my emails that come up during the night, it's the first thing that I read. And to all of you who have joined or are listening to this, it is really, it is one of the newsletters that I enjoy the most, because it's, this pinch of positive energy and food for thought, and I love it.
Thank you, Zala. I appreciate it so much. So I look forward to seeing you guys. We're taking next week off. Next Monday is the 4th of July in the United States, and so long weekend for me. But I look forward to reconnecting when we can.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you, everyone, for watching, and turn off the recording.
Yeah.